The Israeli Prime Minister has warned that a deal under discussion on Iran's nuclear program could pave its way to the bomb, rather than block it. In a speech to U.S. Congress punctuated by standing ovations, Benjamin Netanyahu depicted Iran as a threat to the entire world. Talks on Iran's nuclear program are nearing a critical late March deadline for an outline agreement to be reached. The speech comes just 2 weeks before a closely fought election in Israel. Mr. Netanyahu insisted that he was not trying to meddle in internal U.S. politics. The White House had criticized his plan to address Congress, at Republican invitation, without consulting the White House, saying the Israeli leader was trying to swell U.S. opposition to any Iran deal. Following the speech, U.S. President Barack Obama told reporters he had seen nothing new in the speech transcript. On the core issue, which is how to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon which would make it far more dangerous, the Prime Minister did not offer any viable alternatives, he said. The US, UK, France, Germany, Russia and China are seeking to reach agreement to curtail Iran's nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. They fear Iran has ambitions to build a nuclear bomb, something Iran denies, insisting it is merely exercising its right to peaceful nuclear power. Negotiators are currently working towards a late March deadline for an outline agreement with Iran, which would be followed by a detailed deal by the end of June. But Mr. Netanyahu said, "We've been told that no deal is better than a bad deal." Well, this is a bad deal, a very bad deal. Mr. Netanyahu was greeted with whoops and cheers as he made his way to the podium, shaking hands as he went. His speech was frequently interrupted with applause, but dozens of Democrats stayed away, including Vice President Joe Biden. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi at times refused to clap and later issued a statement saying Mr. Netanyahu's speech had been an insult to the intelligence of the United States, which had left her near tears. Mr. Netanyahu insisted the Israel-US relationship must remain above politics and that he was grateful for the support of the American people. But he quickly went on to the meat of his speech, saying Iran had proven time and time again that it could not be trusted. The country was on a march of conquest, subjugation, and terror, he said. Iran's regime is as radical as ever, the ideology is deeply rooted in militant Islam, it will always be an enemy of U.S. Its participation in the battle against Islamic State did not make it a friend, he said, this enemy of your enemy is your enemy. Mr. Netanyahu went on to criticize the likely contours of the deal currently being negotiated in Switzerland, where Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif met U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry on Tuesday. He said it relied heavily on international monitoring, when Iran plays a pretty good game of hide and cheat with UN inspectors. He said it would leave Iran with a vast nuclear infrastructure and lift restrictions on its nuclear programs in a decade. This deal doesn't block Iran's path to the bomb, it paves Iran's path to the bomb, Mr. Netanyahu said, claiming Iran could have 100 nuclear bombs within 5 years.